Xbox One X and pre-orders. A lot of people were surprised by the fact you couldn't pre-order the Xbox One X after the reveal at E3. In this video, we're going to talk about why that's the case, when they possibly might open up the pre-orders, what surprises they could have in store, and a whole bunch of other stuff relating to that topic. What is going on, guys? Randall Thor 19, the man with the million, back again with another daily video. Hopefully everybody's weekend is going well. I just did a guest spot on the Speak podcast with Ash and Luca and Blue Rendezvous. Go check that podcast out when you got the time. But this video is all going to be about the pre-order for the Xbox One X. Now, myself and like everybody else assumed that once Microsoft would unveil the Xbox One X to the world, we would all be able to go to our favorite retailers like Amazon and GameStop and smash that pre-order button like people should smash the like button on this video. But that wasn't the case. The pre-order didn't go up. It's still not up yet, and it's July 9th, so we're pretty much a month after E3. Still no pre-order, and the word is kind of mum from Microsoft. They're just saying it's coming, be patient, and things like that. Now we're going to talk about that. Now obviously they said the reason why the Xbox One X is not available for pre-order is because it hasn't been approved by the FCC. Now, one has to wonder why, and is that a mistake not having the pre-orders readily available right away? And we're going to talk about that right now. Now, the system was, like I said, a month ago on June 11th, unveiled to the world, and you would think the pre-orders would be available because a lot of people would immediately want to pre-order the new hotness. A lot of people would impulse pre-order, and on Amazon you don't have to pay for a pre-order until it ships. I know in some other places you do, but the fever for Xbox One X would be at an all-time high, you would think, right after the conference. I know the price tag turns off a lot of people. I mean, it is a high price. $500 is a lot. But I still think the really hardcore Xbox fans, and even the ones who maybe were on the fence, would be like, all right, I want to pre-order this. And stores use the pre-orders to basically gauge how many systems they need to order, how many they need to order to cover the pre-order, and how many they want to have in reserve for people coming in on launch day or whatever to buy that. But there's also the school of thought saying that, like, is that really an issue that they didn't have it ready? Because people will say, well, Rand, anybody that is going to pre-order the Xbox One X after E3 when it was revealed will pre-order it whenever it's available, whenever pre-orders become available, whether it's August or September. And while I think that is mostly true, that may not be true in every case, and you run some risks the longer you hold off about pre-ordering. And I'm going to talk about that right now. What are these risks, you might ask? It's simple, basically. The longer you wait, the more you hear about the console and the games for it. Now, as you can tell, I'm on the Microsoft basic website, xbox.com, and when you scroll through the pages, I mean, they talk about 4K, feel true power. It's basically marketed as a 4K machine. It's marketed as the world's most powerful console. That's the tagline. That's what they're selling it as, because they say with 40% more power than a console, immerse yourself in or experience immersive true 4K gaming. Games play better on Xbox One X. And that's true. The games will play better on Xbox One X in comparison to the regular Xbox and in comparison to the PS4 Pro and the PS4. But as more and more games are tested by Digital Foundry and more information comes out, the more Digital Foundry can assault these claims made by Microsoft. You found out that some games are checkerboarded. You found out that maybe it won't be able to attain 4K as much as they claim. So the longer you go without the pre-order, and the more people find out and the information gets parsed and parceled out to everybody, that maybe it's not as big as a true 4 gaming machine as the marketing would lead to believe, which would lead people to not pre-order the system. The longer those negative or negative slanted, and not even really negative, but just like at least they would perceive it to be a negative article, might cause somebody not to pre-order the system that they were planning on pre-ordering. Now, that might be for some, that might be for others. Obviously, we have no data, or I have no data to really back that up. But I think the only like real anecdotal data I see is like on Twitter and the forum. Some people will be like, I was pre-ordering this, but now I'm not. And whether or not that plays a large role into it is still really undecided, but I think it can have an impact. Because when you first unveil the system and Microsoft is able to hit you with that message about what the games are and it's how much of a beast the machine is and it does 4K, you're going to pre-order it because like, yes, I'm ready to go. It's not going to cost me any money. You basically forget about it. But the longer they wait, the more articles come about the system, the more videos are made about the system, the more tweets are made about the system, and not all of them are positive, so that affects people's perceptions. So they may think, you know what? I don't really need to pre-order this right away. I want to see if it's really worth the money. Maybe I can wait. Maybe buying a 4K TV isn't right for me right now. And that is kind of an issue. And the question is that a big enough issue? Are they going to lose customers or pre-order people who were going to pre-order it before and pre-order it now? Now, my own opinion on that matter is I think the people who are going to pre-order the Xbox One X at launch or at E3 are pretty much going to be the exact same people that will pre-order it whenever it's announced. I don't think they'll lose many people in the shuffle, because I think if you were interested in buying the Xbox One X after E3, then you're probably interested in pre-ordering the Xbox One X in September if and when pre-orders open. So I don't think it really has that much of an impact. I think people want to just know they'll be able to buy an Xbox One X at launch and not have a scenario like the NES Mini or the SNES Mini or how the original Xbox 360 launch went, where you couldn't find the system even though you really wanted. I think people just want to feel secure in knowing that they're going to be able to get what they want. So this brings us to the question of when our pre-orders going to be open, and what surprises are they really talking about? Because we've heard that from a lot. Recently, Major Nelson even said that the team was working on a lot of surprises, or a surprise for the pre-order stuff. We've heard that from other people, like even Mike Ibarra, that there's some like surprise that they're working for. And it's like, well, what possibly could that surprise be? Are they going to bundle a game with the system, and that's why it's not ready for pre-order yet? Are they waiting? Like, the question is, like, what is the wait for? Is the wait to try to work out the kinks of the surprise? Because it's kind of interesting. It's like, you would think maybe they would have the surprise ready so you could pre-order it at E3, but obviously maybe the wait is to get this surprise lined up. And if it's their own game, do they really have to worry that much? I mean, there's talk that maybe there'll be an official trade-in program, but does that really need FCC approval? Would that be really much a surprise? I mean, usually GameStop and these places do offer better trade-in values when you're trading into a new system. It's just kind of interesting to think about, like if Microsoft would actually maybe partner with somebody to really give some good value on a pre-order thing, or a bundle. Are they going to bundle a game with the base system? Because they've only talked about one SKU. The only SKU that they talked about is the one that comes with the terabyte hard drive, right? They haven't talked about a second SKU. So it's just been Xbox One X for $500. And the question is there an Xbox One X that you can pre-order for $600 that comes with an Elite controller maybe and a game perhaps? If so, they haven't talked about that. Is that a surprise? Is a $600 system a surprise? Or not, because in my opinion, it wouldn't be. So what kind of surprise are they talking about in this sense? I know in January of last year, they had that like pick your own game bundle where like you could buy an Xbox One and you could pick one of 5 different games. And it was mostly games that either they had a marketing deal with or that were their own games. Is it possible maybe they're waiting to work out the deals with some of the third parties where you could like, hey, you buy an Xbox One X, you can choose from Crackdown 3, Forza 7, Shadow of War, and Assassin's Creed as your game, and they're just trying to work out the contracts for that? I think that would be cool, and that would kind of allay some of the fears of it being $500 if you got a free game with the system. I think that would be a smart move, bundling a game with the system, because it is a $500 system. It is quite a lot of money. And you can tell people want the system because the pre-order thing is constantly tweeted at. People constantly tweet Phil. People constantly tweet Major Nelson. They constantly tweet Mike Ybarra about the details of when this is going to happen. And honestly, I think it's July right now. I think we'll find out about it in August. There is an event coming up in August, and it is Gamescom. And Microsoft will be there, although Phil himself will not be there. He has a family matter. But I would not be surprised if that's when they announce this surprise to the entire market, because that's kind of like the last one big gaming convention before the launch of the system. I mean, they're not going to go to TGS, and if they do go to TGS, nobody's going to care because it's Japan. But I feel you could make an announcement there, get maybe some press, some good positive press out there in the European market, and people would then be able to pre-order. So I'm expecting pre-orders to open up right around the time Gamescom either opens or closes. I think we'll be able to pre-order it before the beginning of September, if not like maybe the first day of September, because stores are going to know how many they need to order, because they don't know. They don't know how many systems they need to order right now. That's what usually pre-orders are for. It's like, hey, we have 100,000 pre-orders. We need to at least order 100,000 of these machines. So I just wonder if that is going to impact Microsoft at all. What if the pre-order numbers are low, but they built too many machines, so they have a surplus? Or what if their pre-orders are way too high and they don't have enough on stock available, and you have a shortage situation? Then you're really going to have a lot of angry people that weren't, that didn't get the system they want to get. And Microsoft's not really a company to really play the shortage or the artificial shortage that like Nintendo does and stuff like that. But the pre-order thing is, like I said, it's an interesting discussion. Why it's happening? Are they going to lose any customers? What could the surprise be? And the date. And I hope you guys enjoyed the video, enjoyed the discussion points. Let me know what you think in the comments. When do you think pre-orders will open up? What do you think the reason is outside of the FCC not approving it? What is the potential surprise? So if you like the video, please hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, if this is your first time here, if you haven't subbed, I would greatly appreciate hitting that sub button or hitting the bell to be notified when new videos are uploaded. You can follow me on social media at rand_al_thor_19. All my social media info is at the description of the video. If you want to follow me everywhere, you're more than welcome to. And I will see everybody in the next video. Later, guys.